Sometimes people call an unguarded heart burnout.
Yes, there you go.
Let's just be real clear.
Yep.
If you're not guarding your heart, you got a bad attitude, or you are unwilling to deal with things properly, don't call that burnout.
Right.
That's something different.
You may have an offense. You may have a hurt. You may have
undealt
with unforgiveness.
You might have hidden sin that's exhausting you.
Yeah.
Like there might be other stuff. So don't just point at burnout.
Tiredness and and call it burnout. No, that's really
And I
good.
think that burnout is more than just like a bad day. What's up, everybody?
Welcome to the Tug of More.
Guys, we're pumped and thrilled and excited and jazzed that you're here.
Pumped. Exactly. That's right.
Ecstatic.
We're jazzed up.
Exuberated.
I don't have words other than that. Like, thrilled. Beyond compare.
We're happy.
So excited.
We're jubilant. I don't think that's a word.
It might be. I don't know.
What are we doing here? We're just having a conversation.
That's right. Two friends.
About
where we are.
And where we want to be.
That's right.
You know, all of us were stuck in this tension of, man, we feel like God has something great for us, but we are where we are today.
Yeah.
And so that's what we talk about. We talk about all kind of stuff, from leadership things to spirituality to relational. Then we just tell crazy stories.
Yeah. Talk about what's going on in our life and ask you questions about what's going on in your life.
What's happening? Anything crazy going on?
My mother-in-law's been in the hospital for a lot of days. She's finally coming
that's
home.
sad.
It's sad.
Maybe not crazy and jubilant.
Well, it's not jubilant, but the jubilantness is that she's coming home today. So
Yes,
that's
Lord.
good. Thank God. Because it's hard whenever you have family, loved ones sick, and your home is a mess. And, you know, life is out of cadence. And I'm a very cadence-full person. And so when it's not in that, I get a little worn out. So I'm glad that we're getting back in the saddle of it. I saw a thing the other day that said introverted extroverts who are type B and type A at the same time or something like that. And I was like, that is like me. Like, I need my routine and my schedule, except every now and then I need it to not be routine and schedule. And that made me think of myself. But what about you? What are you?
What am I? Let's see.
You're super routine.
Me and Titus just went to the knife show.
Okay.
So that's fun. So every year in Fort Worth, they have, it's not the largest. The largest is in Vegas, but they have one of the largest knife shows in America. And so it's like all the different manufacturers of like high-end quality.
You and my
knives.
boys went one year, right?
Yeah, maybe
the same one?
Yeah, maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
The same thing?
Yeah, me and Titus and Aaron and Easton went.
Okay.
And so me and but you guys have kind of been going through a lot.
We had a lot this weekend happening.
It was not the weekend to invite you all to the knife show. So me and Titus went, and that was fun. He does good. He does good until he's ready to go.
And then so does he start saying "whelp"?
He starts saying, "Daddy, I want to go home. What's for lunch, Daddy?" But then he wants to buy something at every single table.
Well, yeah, he told me that there were some good tables and some bad tables. And he said the good tables were ones that gave away free stickers.
Yeah, so he gets a little bag. When you go in, you get like a bag. And a lot of the tables have just cool stickers that they kind of give out to the kids.
Free.
And they're free.
He said he got as
But
many
like
as
a
he
bunch of them are like super inappropriate. Like,
oh, really?
Oh, bro. Yeah.
Oh, he didn't tell me that.
I mean, you could think of the kind of guys that are starting knife companies.
It's like
are
those,
like not the most wholesome
Big
dudes.
Booty Judy stickers on the back of cars.
Yeah, there's a couple of those, and then like F this and F that, and so like nobody, we're not gonna pick up that one.
No.
But when you start to, so I collect, and I wish I could collect knives.
Yeah, but you have several knives.
I at least yearly buy 1 or 2 decent knives.
Nice.
And but when you start to learn about subcultures of things, they're pocket knives for $10,000.
That's
I mean, like
crazy.
wild expenses.
That's crazy.
And so yeah, so
he got a it's not a switchblade. What's it called?
Well, it's a trainer.
Trainer,
so like
but
it's like a switchblade.
It is a trainer,
it's a butterfly knife. It's like a butterfly knife, but it's plastic and has a plastic blade, so he can just kind of play with it.
He was showing me and Enrique, and then Enrique took
Did he bring it to church?
He brought it to the hospital.
That's right.
And so
it's not sharp. It's just plastic.
It hit my. I was like, oh, that hurts. But he was like, yeah, but if it was real, it would have cut your finger off. And I was like, right. But then he handed it to Enrique, and Enrique is like, gangster and and big pimpin'. He did. He starts, and Titus like. And he's like, how did you do that? Teach me that. And Enrique's like, I got skills. It's really funny. You can amaze children with all kinds of things.
Yeah, all kinds of things. I have a one magic trick that I do. That's not great, but my kids still don't know it. And so anytime
still
it's a card trick, and so anytime we have cards, I do the trick, and their minds are blown.
That's so funny.
And they think I'm they think I'm full
Dad,
of magic.
you should move to Vegas and be a magician.
So yeah, let's see, knife show. What else? Oh, our personal insurances went up by $1 million.
That's ridiculous.
What is happening in the world right now? Do we want to take this on a total downer?
No.
Of how expensive the world is?
Though. Golly.
Don't you ever just want to be a criminal?
All the time. You remember when we were kids?
Sometimes I'm just like, dude.
You remember when we were kids and people used to steal cable?
Yes.
Did you ever have neighbors that stole cable? I had one neighbor once that I found out they were stealing cable. I thought that was crazy. But now I'm like, how do I steal electricity? I'm like, how do I steal gas?
I will be Robin Hood and just steal from the rich.
Let's do it. How do we do it?
I don't know. We got to pray. Got to pray just to make it today.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's
what else is happening? Before we get into what we're talking about, what else is going on around here? Well, we had these lights hanging in our auditorium that have not worked for 100 years.
Oh, yeah.
And so Easton, shout out Easton and Ryan and gang, uninstalled a bunch of busted lights. So that's nice. It doesn't look as cluttery. We have no more yellow ratchet straps up in the ceiling.
That's true. We still do have some black ratchet straps holding an LED wall.
It's still a tad sketchy.
If you have, if you like sell that kind of stuff and want to give it to us,
you got an eyelash.
You have to tell me when I do
because
still they fall out.
All right, you got it.
I did or I didn't?
No, you got it.
Oh, I was going to make
I'll tell you, this is news. I don't know. Should I give the positive or the negative of this?
I don't know what you're about to give.
I'll give the positive. God is good. He's on the throne.
That's 100% true. I do not know what you're about to say.
The negative is the building next door to our church has been leased by somebody else.
Some people will be excited, but most people...
You know who's coming in? Goodwill. I'm not happy about it. Can I just be honest? I don't want
I'm just sitting here with the same face.
I don't want Goodwill over there.
No, why can't it be a Nordstrom's?
I love Goodwill people. I'm just saying, we're just going to have people like dropping off mattresses and bicycles and a bunch of bull crap. They're going to end up
dropping them on our, what are they called? Bento boxes in the back? What are they called?
Bento boxes in the back?
What are they called?
Our storage containers? Our
connexes? I couldn't think of the word.
Bento box. Because they're coming over from China?
No.
Why is it a bento box?
That's not what I meant. It's a box. I couldn't remember what it's called. Oh my gosh. No, I just was like, what's a box? It's called Connex. I always never can remember the word.
Yeah, it's
always never. Whatever.
So I'm not thrilled about that. But you want to know the good news? They put in all new air conditioners up there.
Yeah.
So you know what I thought?
We get to go steal theirs.
No, what I thought was God's just giving us new air conditioners.
Oh, you think?
For whenever they go out of business.
Oh. I thought you meant for like in the middle of the night whenever Ryan goes and moves them over.
I'm saying because the thing is we don't need that building right now.
No, you're right.
But in 2 years, in a year and a half, do it, God. And so every time you come to church, you got to just stick your hand over there and say, give it to us.
You know what? I'm proud of you right now.
Why?
Because 2 years ago, you'd been real stressed out. How are they there? Why are they there? Blah, 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 blah. But you just said, no, when we're supposed to have it, he's going to give it to us. And even if you're just saying it to convince yourself, you still said it. So good job.
No, but I am going to tell all y'all, don't nobody donate nothing over there. Right across the street, there's Resale Arlington. There's Resale Arlington. You know what we got to do? Take everything nice you got across the freeway to Resale Arlington. Let's help them be greatly successful. These jokers.
Get them out of here.
Bye.
God will do it.
But I don't know. God knows what he's doing. I'm off the throne. He's going to figure it out.
That's what I'm saying. Good job. You're doing good.
Rachel, she was like, yeah, but Tristan, what if God doesn't even want us in that building for a long time?
So then we don't know.
And I was like, baby, you don't know the stress associated with that simple sentence that you just said. And I was like, can we just not have to do that again?
Can we just please stay still for 5 minutes?
But what I love about us is that we're not trapped by a place.
No, never. I don't think we would.
I'm not trapped here. Because I know pastors that are like, they don't even view a move as an option.
Oh,
like if they did, their whole church would fall apart and die, and everybody would leave. And
if we had a new building tomorrow be available to us, and for some reason we were supposed to take it, our whole church would just show. We'd just move all the stuff and all together, and we just go.
They'd be like, "Oh, cool, let's go there and paint everything white and red.
That's
let's
fine. Let's do it. As long as it had more space to grow.
Come on,
we'll do it.
Bigger boat, more fish.
That's right. It's just a boat. That's all it is.
All right. Guess what? We're filming the second episode of the day.
Yeah.
We don't do this very often, but today.
we had time.
We had time
and kind of energy. So
what we used to do whenever we would do 2 episodes at the time is we would go and change outfits.
I know.
But you know what? What's it matter?
What does it matter? Y'all are listening, and
most
maybe
of y'all
not
aren't
even
even watching.
Right? Who cares?
On YouTube, and it's way less of a
And
hassle.
we're adorable no matter what we wear. So, I'm just kidding.
All right.
What are we talking about today? Oh,
well, you got any other things fun to say?
I don't know. I was trying to think of a segue into it, but I don't got one.
Oh, good.
I had one earlier, but when we were talking. But yeah, no, I don't know. Everything is exciting. It's a good day. I don't know. It's happy outside. The weather's good, so I'm happy. No, I don't know. We were talking today.
All right, here's what we're talking about.
Burnout. This is what we're talking about.
About burnout. Have you ever felt burnt out?
Yes.
Have you ever felt? It sounds like a drug commercial. You know the drug commercials?
Have you ever
been anxious and overwhelmed and restless legs while you try to sleep? Do you know what you need to try? You need to try Zofralax. What's some name? I don't know what's called.
It's probably a real drug. Who knows? But yes, today we're going to talk about burnout because we have been in seasons of burnout. And that's part of why we're really grateful for this building and like the space that we have right now, because it's allowed us to take a deep breath for a minute and kind of rest and recoup. But burnout is a real thing.
Yeah.
You and I used to not believe in it. We used to think,
because we were young and full
dumb.
Of anger and passion.
Yeah, we just thought anybody who was burnt out just didn't care enough.
Or was weak.
And lame. And so now we know that is real because we've both experienced it. Yeah. And so we just want to talk about it because we know people in our life that we love who are walking through kind of that season right now. We know people in our life that we love who could walk through that season if they don't make some changes.
Yeah.
And we know some people in our life that have helped us get to the other side of it. And so we just want to talk about it.
Now, our context is ministry, right?
That's right.
We're pastors. This is what we do. But I think that you can experience burnout in
all kind of things.
Anything that you're committed to.
Absolutely.
So what is burnout? Burnout is when you light a candle and then just let it burn and burn and burn and burn. And eventually it runs out of material and it burns out.
Right.
And when I was young, I was arrogant enough to think that I was the juggernaut and it was impossible for my momentum to be stopped. But then there's a certain point in leadership where it's so heavy that you can only wake up so many times and then you start to get exhausted and fatigued and worn out and tired and dismayed and annoyed and frustrated, and things that used to not annoy you now are wanting to make you murder someone.
Right.
And then you realize like, oh, I'm experiencing some burnout.
Yeah.
Now, a little caveat, or else I'll have to say it later. Sometimes people call an unguarded heart burnout.
Yes, there you go.
Let's just be real clear.
Yep.
If you're not guarding your heart, you got a bad attitude, or you are unwilling to deal with things properly, don't call that burnout.
Right.
That's something different.
You may have an offense. You may have a hurt. You may have
undealt
with unforgiveness.
You might have hidden sin that's exhausting you.
Yep.
Like there might be other stuff. So don't just point at burnout.
Tiredness and and call it burnout. No, that's really
And I
good.
think that burnout is more than just like a bad day. Because everybody, like even in the highest moments, I still have bad days or bad couple days.
Or like a busy week that leaves you like, whew,
yeah,
I'm exhausted.
But burnout is like a systemic thing that we kind of get hit by.
Yeah, because like I mentioned it, like my mother-in-law's been in the hospital. It's been 5 days of like exhaustion mentally, emotionally, physically. And so it'd be easy for me today to say, oh man, I'm burnt out.
Yeah.
But that's not true.
You're tired.
I'm tired and have had a rough week.
Recently.
And like once I rest in the next 2 days, I'm gonna be back to me and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
But recognizing burnout is an important piece to getting over it. You said it and I got the visual of like, we light the candle and then we think that we're the ones that can reproduce the oil that goes in the candle to keep it going. And that's just not true. Like there are real strategies in life that we need. It's not just up to us to muster it to get it. So let's talk about what should we talk about first? Well,
I mean, we got to talk about how to be aware of burnout, how to avoid burnout, and then how to deal with it if you're in it. So where should we start?
Probably awareness is the first step. Yeah.
Okay. So you've got to be aware of how you are, because it changes.
Yeah.
And like. I think that I tricked myself pre-experiencing actual burnout, just telling myself, I'm good, I got this.
Right.
I'm unstoppable.
Right.
God's on my side.
That's right.
I can do all things through Christ.
And thinking
Joshua tore down the walls of Jericho.
Right.
I'm going to kill the giant. I had this thing in me that I was like, I'm impervious. Except then when you start feeling weak, you're then just calling yourself weak.
Right.
And like not giving space for humanity.
Yeah.
Or for my flesh is just tired. And so you have to just be aware, how am I feeling?
Right. No, I think for me, the awareness of where am I placing my energy, and like, am I giving my best yes in places, or am I just giving my yes everywhere, was the thing that had helped me be aware that I was burnout. Because what I realized when I looked at it was like, oh, you are putting so much energy in some places that you shouldn't be. And if you would just stop doing that, then the things you actually are passionate about, the things you actually love, the people you actually care about would not be getting your worst. Right now, they're getting your worst because you're giving your best to some of these places that are not even your best yes. Why are you doing it? And it wasn't until I identified that I could even identify how I felt, because I was still in a denial phase of how I felt. Does that make sense?
Yeah. All right. Aware of feeling burned out. I think that anytime something that used to bring you a bunch of joy or you used to love, when it starts to become a headache,
a chore,
a thing that you're not looking forward to, then you realize like, I might need to have some self-reflection.
Yes.
Like I might need to, in a car, they have the scanner tool that you plug the scanner tool in underneath the dash, and then it reads the computer of the car. Like your dashboard only gives you a couple things, but the scanner tool tells you all kind of stuff. And it's like, you need to just, what's going on? My dashboard's doing some weird stuff, but what's going on underneath?
Well, that's the only way you're going to determine if it's a heart issue or if it's a burnout issue.
Yeah.
Because once you can take the minute to evaluate it, do I just really need to take a vacation, a break, a restful rejuvenation, or do I have something I need to deal with in my heart, in my mind, in my relationships? And the scan, it's an important piece that people like us don't like to stop to take.
Yeah.
I didn't want to stop. I got junk to do. Yeah. I got important stuff to get done. You and I have in the past made practices of taking short sabbaticals where we can just spend some time alone with God and like pray and reflect. And that was really a place for me that helped me go, oh, this is how I'm doing. I didn't give myself enough time to evaluate how I'm doing before.
Because it's not just lay on a beach or take a day off.
Right.
Because then you're just like got some sleep, but your system of life is still chaos.
Going the same. And so you just find yourself every however many days back in the same pattern.
Some self-review.
Yeah.
I remember one of the first times in ministry I started to feel like something was off. Our church at that time, so I was a youth pastor, and our church had grown a bunch. And so we were going from kind of like small church to like organization.
Yeah.
Which is a big difference.
Or church plant to church even, kind of, right?
No, I'm talking like way back. Like
you're talking about a long time ago.
When I was a youth pastor.
Oh, okay.
And so we're going from like, there's a couple hundred people come into like, there's 2,500 people, and there's an organization.
Yeah.
And so our church hired this new lady who came in, and she put in all these structures and all these systems and all these things. And I'm like a kid.
Yeah.
I'm 20 and I don't know how to navigate it all. And I started getting mad at this lady.
Yeah.
Right? And frustrated. And I remember I would be driving to the church and listening to the angriest music. Like listening to this angry music. And it's the first time that I started to realize like, whoa, dude, I have some stuff in my heart that is leading me to feel burned out. And so I had to deal with the heart stuff and then deal with the burnout. I did not need a vacation. Because if I would have just taken a vacation, I would have just been mad at this lady while I was on vacation.
Yeah. But I had to come right back and been right back in the same.
Right. But I had to realize like, oh, there's some like grossness in here that I have to deal with.
No, it's really good. One of the things for us that we've said like is a key indicator. As you're saying that, I'm like, okay, your heart is off. Well, how do you know? Out of the abundance of the heart, your mouth speaks.
Yeah.
And like for us, one of our values we say all the time is that we get to do this.
Yeah.
So like you said, things that we do that used to bring us joy, then all of a sudden when I feel like I have to do this instead of I get to, if that starts coming out of my mouth, I know, something is super off. And like in a previous season when I was feeling burnt out, that was really, we talked about it, like my get to was getting stolen. It was like I felt like everything in my life I had to, and I felt so heavy in it. And it wasn't until I kind of shook that and realized, hey, this is what's coming out of your mouth. You're the get to lady, and you're not saying that anymore. That I could evaluate. Oh, that is what's happening in me. I got to deal with that, and figure out why, so that I can make some changes.
Yeah. Maybe you're just doing something too much.
Right.
Like maybe you're doing something that's good, but you're just doing it too many times, too close together, and it's causing this feeling of exhaustion.
Yeah, like you're supposed to take a rest day for the gym, and if you don't, you can tear a tendon. But
why are you coming at my poor hip?
I'm sorry, I wasn't.
Yeah.
No, I have Achilles thing going on. That's what I was thinking about. But you have to take a rest, take a minute, take time, see if you're actually giving it the right proportion.
Yeah, I remember when we first started the church.
Yes.
The ministry did not have much to offer. We had no building. We didn't have good kids program. Like worship was mediocre. Like nothing was really a selling point. And so what Rachel and I did was we just had dinners with people all the time. And Aaron and Whit became our friends, and then they came along. And we were just having dinner with new people in the church.
All the time.
3-4 nights a week. Like an absurd amount of connection outside of business work hours. Rachel's working a full-time job. Aaron and Whit are working a full-time job. I'm working full-time for the church. And then multiple nights a week, we're hanging out with people. And it led to a relational burnout.
Absolutely, yeah.
Of I can't smile and talk and tell how did y'all meet each other? And oh, here's me and Rachel's love story.
If I have to tell that story one more time, right?
I'm going to go nuts. I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
And so we had to be intentional to take a step back.
Yeah.
But just the other week, Rachel and I had dinner, shout out with Jeff and Lindsay Key.
Oh, yeah.
Who are avid members of the Tug team.
Yeah.
And so we're out to dinner with them. And when we got in the car, me and Rachel had the best conversation about how fun it was.
Yeah.
We're like, that was so fun. That was so refreshing. I mean, they're easiest people in the world to talk to and hang out with. But we're like, do you remember how burnt out we were? Because we were just doing something that we love.
Too much.
Way too much. And so just be aware if you're starting to have burnout. And this is something that we're starting to help people in our volunteer teams figure out. Because more church people are more church people.
They are sold out.
They're tattoo ready.
They got T-shirts that say more church.
Oh my God. Yeah, they're in. And so that's great.
Right.
But
yeah,
guys, don't burn yourself out.
Right.
You can't volunteer on every single team. You can't be up here 7 nights in a row.
No, you can't.
You can't.
If you do,
I love you, but even the staff can't be up here 7 nights a week. And so what's going to happen is your candle's going to get burned out all the way to the end, and the flame's going to go out. You know what you're going to do? You're going to get mad at me.
Right.
Or you're going to get mad at Enrique or Tim or Whit. You're going to get mad and be like, they abused me. This is what I hear people say. The church took advantage of me, or they overworked me. And I'm like, maybe. Or maybe you just kept saying yes. Everywhere. Yeah. And then you said yes for this leader and this leader and this leader, and they all didn't realize that
how
you were
much
getting
you were
burned
doing.
Out.
Right. No, it's really
and
good.
So there's some responsibility that we have to take to guard ourselves from getting burned out.
No, really good. And we have to be aware. What you just said is good. We have to be aware of where someone else might be pulling us into too much, or where we are allowing ourselves. Because it's not typically somebody else's fault. Sometimes it is, every now and then. But most of the time...
But that's in a real manipulative situation.
Correct. Most of the time it's our own fault.
That we said
we just say yes too much. In the mom season of my life, where I said yes to PTA and I said yes to serving at the church but wasn't working there, but then also had my job and then was trying to do all these other volunteer projects with my kids, sports, everything.
Bunko team.
It was so much. And it was I got here to Texas 15 years ago, no friends, knew nobody. So I want to now be involved everywhere so I can find my people. Well, then I found my people, but kept doing all this other junk.
Yeah.
I'm worn the junk out. And that is I had to stop doing that.
Rachel preached on this, my Rachel, a couple weeks ago on you've got to pick your best yes.
Yeah, it's important.
And so if you feel yourself getting burned out, just really review your life. What do I need to put down? Now, maybe the thing you need to put down, I remember back in the day, A-Rod's one of my best friends, but he was playing on like 4 softball leagues.
Yeah.
And he was exhausted. And he realized, like, why am I playing on so many of these softball leagues? Maybe I should just pick one of those. So this does not mean that you need to quit all volunteerism in the ministries.
No.
But maybe there's some other areas that are tapping you.
Well, I think one thing of why we don't, I know for me, you know this about me strongly, is I had serious FOMO.
Yeah.
Talk
about it.
If I didn't go to something, or if I wasn't invited to Jeff and Lindsay Key, I want to go to dinner with them. You know what I mean? Like if there was anything happening always, I want to go. I want to be there. I want to have fun.
Jeff and Lindsay, we're waiting for you to make barbecue
come
your
on,
house.
guys, let's go. I'm just kidding.
I've been inviting myself over to his house because apparently he's an amazing chef.
I want to cook for us, Jeff. Okay,
yeah,
but yeah, if I thought I was going to miss out on a good time, I would be more worried about that than I was about, is that actually where I need to give my time? Is that actually what I need? So like Reengage is our marriage ministry here. I care passionately. We have done how many marriage series in the church over the years? I care passionately about people's marriages.
Yeah.
But I had to make a decision when Reengage came out and started there are great leaders leading that. They do not need my bandwidth to show up every time.
Yeah.
We go when when we're asked to go, and we go when we can.
Celebration night.
Yes, and we get the opportunity sometimes to hear people's testimonies or whatnot, but we are not committed to being there every week, because even though I have FOMO a lot of times where I'm like,
I want to be a part of those stories. Well, you're fed by stories.
And because I love their stories. I love the life change. It is not my best yes. It is a great yes for the people that it is the right yes for.
Yeah.
And it's hard because that is beautiful. That is one of the best ministries of our church. And so it can sound whack for me to say that's not my best yes.
Yeah.
But it's not. And so like it took me a long time, because everything's beautiful. Everything has to do with Jesus.
Yeah.
I should give my yes to. And the same is true with my family. Everything that is about my family, I should give yes to. But I had to realize, wait a minute, what season are we in? What is absolutely necessary from me right now in the responsibilities I have? And what is the best yes I can give? And trust the FOMO feeling will fill itself somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because what I was doing instead was giving 20% of myself everywhere.
Yeah.
Instead of giving 100% of myself where I am supposed to be.
So what you're saying is, you don't have to go to every birthday party.
I don't have to go to every birthday party.
Not just you, them.
Right. Well, you don't have to. Where is it? Turn the light on. Turn the thing. There it is. You don't have to go to every birthday party. You don't have to go to every baby shower. Doesn't mean you don't love people. Doesn't mean you don't show up for them. But like, choose the best opportunities when you can go, and maybe the best relationships you can pour into, but not all of them, because otherwise you're just going to be worn out.
It's just going to beat you down. And the problem with burnout is that when you burn out, you're burnt out in places you wish you weren't.
Correct.
So like,
we've dealt with this in our own friendship and relationship.
Yes.
Where we've been together so hard, fighting back to back and doing it, that then we didn't even spend time, even in this last season, spend as much time together as we want to, because as friends, because we were so burnt out everywhere else.
Burnout. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
I don't want to go.
I'm over it.
Yes.
And so I don't know if I should even start getting into the whole thing, but like, we have people that are now coming into the church that have been a part of other ministries.
Oh, yeah.
And so they're still connected there, and they're going to meetings for this thing, and they've got a dinner over there, and then now they're saying yes to stuff at More Church, and then they've got their kids' soccer practice, and it's like, you've got to put something down.
Yeah, yeah.
Because my pastoral fear is that you're just going to burn out, and when you burn out, guess what's going to go with it? Your relationship with Jesus.
It's true. It's true.
And so this is not like a desperate plea to like be connected to my thing.
Yeah.
I'm saying like, if I burned out, you're going to probably eventually burn out too. Like, there's only so many nights in the evening. There's so much gas in the tank, and you're going to burn the thing out.
I've told the story before, but not in this context. But as I like think about it in my own life and my own FOMO and all of that, one of the places that actually helped me seeing it from the outside looking in, my son played golf on his golf team and drums at the church and did creative stuff at the church. And in like 9th or 10th grade, he had this like moment of like, literally, I'm waking up at 6, going to bed at 10, and doing something every night of the week. And I have to pick something. I can't do both. And both had great potential for him. Both were enjoyable, whatever. But he had to make the best yes decision. And he quit that golf team and only invested in stuff in the church. And I remember as a mom being proud because Jesus and we love, but I remember as a human being so anxious for him when he went to talk to his coach to quit, because I knew that for me that would have been hard.
Right.
And
and that's in your
in my season of that life. I'm 35 and I would not have wanted to do that anywhere. But here this 17-year-old and 16-year-old kid is making this decision, and I'm like, dang it, woman, you've got to learn from this and see, okay, if he can make this, you can too. You can say hard things and not be a part of something sometimes that is good and helpful and can give you a scholarship or financially help you in the future. But it's not the best yes, whatever it is. And for me, I was like, I got to stop showing up everywhere. And yes, we have to do it. So
I've got a guy that I'm not pastoring. Maybe I'm just vaguely speaking into his life.
Okay.
And he's a successful guy who is doing a whole bunch in his business, but is also building a cabin.
Okay.
Or building a
ranch area. Yeah.
And every time I talk to him, the effort of building this ranch is killing him.
Yeah.
And his wife doesn't even ever want to go to the ranch.
Right.
Why are you building this ranch? And I'm like, bro, you're doing too many things.
Yeah.
Like,
he's a business owner, all the other.
Just because 30-year-old you really wanted a ranch.
Let's talk about it.
50-year-old you realizes that dream is not something that's still beneficial to me. And so what would be way better is for him to get rid of the ranch and then just dedicate that money, because he has disposable income, to go and Airbnb 6 times a year at the most beautiful ranches, but it's killing him.
Yeah.
And it's because it's burnout.
Right.
You only have so much energy in your body to accomplish things. Don't say yes to this.
You're allowed to change your mind.
You're allowed to change your mind.
That is when you said it, I'm like, that is such a good sentence. There are so many people at 40, 50 fulfilling things that 20, 30-year-old them wanted, dreamed about, hoped for.
Yeah.
But 40, 50-year-old them, it doesn't fit anymore. And they've just been unwilling to reevaluate it and redetermine that doesn't fit anymore.
Yeah.
And as you said it, I was like, oh, one, you got me. Like, there's things in my life that I'm like, dang it, lady. Like, pay attention to those. Just go look at it again. Just actually say, is this really what I need? Is this really what I want? Or is this just me fulfilling something to 7-year-old me or 20-year-old me or whatever?
And that's really hard when the thing that you wanted so bad was popularity or friends.
Oh, you're right.
When what you desperately wanted was friendship or community.
Right.
And then you show up into a church that has really healthy community.
Yeah.
Or into whatever ministry or this thing or Jesus this over there and this worship concert and this book signing and all this. And then you dive into all this stuff and you finally have community and popularity and friendship that you don't realize, dude, it's burning you out.
Yeah.
And so you've got to draw a line. I'm proud of me and Aaron.
Okay.
Me and Aaron both had bought really cool secondary vehicles.
Yes.
I had my dream Jeep.
Yeah.
That's not an exaggeration.
Yeah.
I had my dream Jeep. And Aaron had the coolest Land Rover ever.
Yeah.
And like we got them through kind of miraculous
like
wheeling
deals.
And
dealing things,
So it wasn't that we just made a bunch of money.
Right.
No, I had bought and sold vehicles for a decade and saved up this money and bought this thing. And after having that Jeep for 3 or 4 years, I realized like it doesn't fit my needs.
Right.
Like I love it.
Right.
But it doesn't even have air conditioning.
Right.
And so my kids never even want to ride in it with me.
Yeah.
And so though every time I'm driving it, I couldn't be happier. I feel like literally a 16-year-old kid. I'm so thrilled. My kids don't want to be in it. And it's so loud that I can't even talk to my wife when she's riding in it with me. So my kids don't want to be in here. My wife doesn't want to be in here. I'm driving this thing by myself, and I had to reevaluate, like, this is no longer my dream.
Right.
I'm going to have another absurd Jeep someday.
Right.
But it's going to have air conditioning. My kids are going to want to be able to ride in it.
It's going to be different, yeah.
And so I had to just let it go.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we have to let it go.
No, it's true. And I think for Aaron, it's exactly what you just said about the ranch. Loved the car. Drove it is literally what you said. There would be days he'd just get home and be like, I just got to go for a drive. Just be gone. So happy. But then it had a few, like, it's old and it needed repairs and it had a few situations happen. And
the hassle.
And then like because of the rareness of the vehicle, there are only certain mechanics that would work on it. And you have to take it here or there and drive it far or whatever. And it started being mental noise in his head.
Aaron asked for one of Easton's friends to take it to his wedding.
Yeah.
For this,
one of his friends wanted him to drive them away in it. Yeah.
And so Aaron gets it fixed, gets the whole transmission and the thing fixed. He's driving it to the wedding.
It breaks down. Absurd.
He calls me. It's broken on the side of the freeway. We winch the thing up. People wonder if me and Aaron are actually friends.
Yes.
Yeah, we're winching stuff up on the side of the freeway. He's really my friend. And it's same thing with the Jeep.
Yeah.
And it's like,
and there was this more.
Now's not the time.
Right. He was just like, the amount of mental stress that I have about what could happen.
Right.
If that could happen again. If it will cost me more money. If I have to take it back to it's just not worth it right now. And it's like that, again, like you said, it doesn't mean he'll never have another fun car again. Or maybe he won't. Maybe we're old and now we just have Hondas for the rest of our life. We don't know. Just kidding.
Yeah.
If he was here, he'd be like, no, that's not. But anyway, but it just wasn't the right time for it. And it didn't mean that it was a bad decision to make back then. And it didn't mean that it was like bad to change it now. It was just a new decision of a new season. And that's what I think. It doesn't mean what you've been giving to or what you've been serving was bad. And it doesn't mean that you wasted time where you were. No. It just means now you're paying attention and you're giving your best yes to your best place. Another thing, as you're talking, I think is important. We are talking about people in our church and volunteers and whatnot. Sometimes people hold on to so many things that they miss the opportunity to level up.
I'm so glad you're going there.
And they're afraid to let go.
Yeah.
Because if I let go, then I won't have that anymore. And then what if this one area that they want me to level up doesn't work out? Well, when you're leveling up, like, you just have to trust that means you have what it takes and God's going to take you where he wants to take you. But if you don't let go, you can't level up. It's too heavy to get there. It's
kind of like, remember when you're in like junior high and elementary school?
Yeah.
You have all the classes, English and math and reading and Spanish and gym and all the things. But then as we get older, we start to select our track.
Yep.
And so, like, for me, I took more communicative classes and Bible classes than I did math classes.
Well, yeah.
The reason is because the direction I'm picking, this is going to lend more important to me than math. Now, I still had to learn a basic understanding of math. And what you're saying is, like, you can't take all the classes all the time if you want to become good at something. And so, like, we have people in our church that they're a usher and they're involved in the women's ministry and they go serve at the soup kitchen and they are in 3 Bible studies and 2 life groups. And it's like, pick where you want to be a champion.
Right.
Pick your
all in.
Pick your all in lane and dominate there and tell us. Like, communicate up the chain of leadership, like what you're most passionate about.
That's good.
And then you're going to be able to nail it.
Yes. No, it's really good. So you have to be aware.
Yep.
What's the next one you said?
Aware, avoid.
Avoid. Oh.
So we've talked avoid.
Yeah.
But I got a story.
Okay.
So I remember my aunt, another aunt. Did I tell my aunt story in the last episode? Okay. Different aunt. This aunt is great. And she...
And the other aunt is also great that you love, but just has some other issues with sarcasm.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
And so this aunt is great. She, when I'm like 16, she bought a Firebird, red Firebird with T-tops.
Oh, yeah, you told me this story.
And like Flint, Michigan is a car culture. And so like it's a super cool car. Mm-hmm. And so our youth group used to do this thing called it doesn't matter what it's called. It's like a prom alternative. It's like a spring social.
That's what ours is called, prom alternative.
Yeah, something like that. And so essentially the youth pastor plans this big thing, and like you get a date and you wear a suit and a dress and you go to some fancy dinner somewhere. And it's like this whole deal. And so I asked this.
To keep you from dancing at your school.
To keep you from sinful activities.
That's right.
And so like most people just did both.
Right.
But so I'm going to the prom alternative.
Yes.
And so I asked this girl named Stacy, which I have a bunch of funny stories about. And so I asked Stacy to this, what is it? What do you call it? I can't remember. So he invited her to this thing. And so I'm like, I asked my aunt, can I drive your car? Mm-hmm. Like, I want to drive your Firebird to pick Stacy up and take her to the church and then go to this dinner. We'll take the T-tops down. It's going to be amazing. And so I like beg my aunt to borrow the car. Yes, you can finally borrow the car. I think my dad had to sign something, or I don't know, but so she lets me borrow the car. She's like, no donuts, don't take it off-road, like all the lists of...
all the rules.
Like, no person should let 16-year-old Trustin borrow their car. This is a bad idea.
100%.
But she lets me borrow the car, and I drive it good. I drive it nice. Okay. I do good. Nothing goes wrong with the car.
That's amazing.
It's perfect.
Good job.
I return the car. It's all good. A month later, the engine seizes up in her car. And so she calls my dad. What did Trustin do to the car? I can't. What happened? My car's been brand new. Went to the dealership. Perfect car. What did he do? He did something that night to the car. So they get it towed in to the dealership. And she gets to the dealership and they say, this car has about 30,000 miles on it. She said, yeah, I bought it a year and a half ago. And they said, well, we don't have it that you've brought in one time for an oil change.
Oh, no.
You see, she bought this Firebird because she had got divorced and her husband used to do all the oil changes and stuff. Well, she doesn't know about that. So you know what she didn't do? Ever go get the oil change in the car.
Ever? In 30,000 miles?
Or in whatever the miles were, she never changed the oil. And so this brand new car, the engine, seized up because she didn't do an oil change. And do you know what we need to do? We need to stay lubricated spiritually.
It's really good, really good.
We have to take some time to let the old out and to put something new in. So one of the major reasons that people are going to have burnout is because they aren't working on their actual relationship with God.
It's true.
Your relationship with God is the oil, I could preach that, is the oil that helps us lubricate all of the moving pieces of our entire lives.
You did read it about the oil, fresh oil.
Oh, fresh oil. Oh, I did. I did a whole deal. Yeah, you're right. And like, friends, if you're getting burnt out somewhere, you have to really ask yourself, like, are me and God actually in like a relationship? Or am I just in a relationship with leaders at the church and I'm working for them? Because like, let me tell you something. I cannot pour back into you enough for you to not be burnt out.
Correct.
I can't.
No, you're just
I'm going to do my very best, but I can't. If you and God aren't tight, I promise you're going to get mad at me, or I'm going to wear you out, or something's not going to go your way, and it's going to fall apart.
And then you're going to get mad at God.
And then your engine's going to seize up, and you're going to go, what happened? He drove me bad. Like, I didn't drive you bad. You have to be on top of your spiritual maintenance.
And that is no matter who you are, no matter what level of leadership you're at in church, in life, whatever. I remember we had a girl on staff here years ago, and she never sat in service. She always sat in the back of the room or was in the lobby because she had to handle things.
Yeah.
And even when I took over some of the roles that I took over, she was like, I don't think you can sit on the front row. There's going to be stuff you need to handle. And I was like, listen, I got to handle my own heart and my own life, and I got to make sure that I am receiving from the Lord and sitting in service and being a part of it at least once in the day. And she didn't do that ever for years, and then went through some change and some shifting situations in her role and job, got frustrated and burnt out, and now in her life is not even really serving God at all.
Opposed to God.
Not even like, not only not in ministry, not serving God, like not raising her children in the ways of the Lord. And I truly believe it's because she didn't learn the rhythms of rest and refilling in the seasons of ministry, because instead, she had a relationship with a ministry, a department, a person, and not actually a relationship with God. And it breaks my heart, but as much as we say it over and over again, it's up to you. It's up to the person to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What?
I'm just thinking of funny Stacy stories. Stacy was she went to another school than me, so none of my friends really knew her. I don't even know how I got to know her, but she's like 6'2". She's like,
you don't know how you got to know her?
I don't remember who.
Somebody met somebody.
She's beautiful, 6'2", model. And so I bring her into this.
Only 16-year-old Trustin in his tie-dye shirt.
Dude, looking like an idiot.
Taking Stacy.
And so I bring her into the youth formal, and the girls in the youth group were so mad.
Yes,
because
they were pissed.
I'm the one called to be a pastor someday.
And that's my guy. What are you doing?
And then here comes what is this Amazonian beauty that he's appeared with?
I bet they were super nice to her.
Yeah, they were not. They were not. And so it's
Stacy's like, the girls at your church are the worst.
I don't even know if I think she was like a Christian.
You don't even know where you found her?
I don't even know how we
at the roller rink.
No, really, it's like one of those, how did I get to even know this
That's
girl?
really funny.
And so I just started laughing about that.
Okay, what else were we talking about? Avoiding burnout.
Okay, avoid, be aware, avoid,
and then deal.
and then repair.
Repair.
Deal with.
Repair.
So if you're feeling burnt out, you're feeling overwhelmed. Oh.
No, it's good because it's not okay to just say I quit forever.
Yes. The answer is not full ejection.
No.
The answer is okay, let me review all the stuff that I've got going on. Let me talk with my spouse about what's going on. How's my relationship with God? Am I actually pouring in? Or am I I meet people that they come to the church and the church is their social club. It's their place to have social interaction. But Jesus is not the center of it. And if it's just social interaction, you're going to get burnt. You're going to get offended.
Right.
It's too hard. The devil's after us.
Always.
So get cool with God. Do a Bible study. Do a fast. Start worshiping in your car. Just last night, I spent some time worshiping. Lillian was listening to this song before she was going to bed. I'm drawing a blank on the name of the song. And I bet I listened to this song, I don't know how many times. Nothing Else.
Oh, yeah.
Cody Carnes.
Nothing else will do.
Nothing else will do. And he starts and he's like, I'm sorry for what I've made it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for when I came. I'm going to cry right now. I'm sorry when I came with my plans. And I'm listening to that song and I'm as a 43-year-old pastor who really loves the Lord, I'm still trying to keep this relationship vibrant. And I'm coming to him and going, God, I'm sorry for what I've made it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry it's about this and this and this and this and this.
Golly,
it's all about you.
Right.
And if it's not all about God, you're going to get bugged when your team leader makes a change that you don't like.
It's true.
And then you're going to bail, blame it on burnout, and you know what you're going to do? You're going to take your family with you.
That's the part that always gets me,
Yeah.
I don't, because your family will suffer the consequence of your burnout. And also, so as we're talking, I'm like, okay, maybe your burnout's not in the church. Maybe it's something in your life.
Correct.
That's burning you out. You're working too many hours. But then because of that, you're not showing up. Maybe you're not showing up and bringing your family. Maybe you're not involved in a life group. Maybe it's not that you're doing too much at the church. Maybe you're doing too much in your life and you're not allowing your family to actually be planted. So either way, it's super dangerous. And if you don't evaluate and then don't deal with the burnout, because then you just eject. And I think of so many people we've known who are like, I'm just going to take a break because I'm burnt out. And then they are just gone.
Right.
And then years later, we see them and their family and their kids and situations are happening.
And the curse has hit their life.
Yeah. And it's just heartbreaking because it's no, all you needed to do was say, hey, can I just serve on one team?
Yeah.
Or all you needed to do was tell your boss, no, I can't work Saturdays every Saturday for the rest of forever. All you needed to do was just make one adjustment to repair the burnout and then actually allow yourself some time to heal before the Lord. And instead, you just lost the whole thing. It makes me sad. So now I got sad.
Well, listen, I know that we're sitting here and we make it sound like it's so easy.
No, it's not easy. I just said.
It's not easy.
FOMO girl over here.
Like this is hard, but adulting is hard.
It is.
And so sometimes the only way to repair is to pick what we should put down.
Yeah.
Pick what I'm going to pick up that's the right thing, and then give it some time to heal. And like, I'm going to give him a shout out. You know who I'm really proud of is Marvin King.
Yes.
So Marvin.
He is an exception to the words I just said.
Marvin's doing a great job.
Really
Marvin
good job.
used to be over the safety team.
Yep.
And it's while we're at the pig, and it was a lot.
That was a beatdown for everybody.
He was getting beat down because he's doing safety on Sunday at the pig over 2 locations. He's doing safety at the North Campus on Wednesday night, which was like weird stuff going on while the church isn't growing but shrinking. And he was up here
all the time.
All the time. And you know what he said? He said, "Hey, Pastor, I can't do it right now." He said, "I'm going to take a step back from leading this team. I've got a great guy who's going to come in," and the team grew. But you know what? He guarded his heart, and Marvin and Bernadette are here.
Yeah.
And you know what they found? They went through Reengage. Now they're leading tables at Reengage.
Yep.
And Marvin has stepped into a
whole
whole new personhood.
Yeah.
And he's now a pastoral voice in guys' lives. But it's because he took a moment to reallocate and realize, I'm burning out.
Yep.
What he could have done is been like, I'm going to be a soldier. I'm going to be on this team for another 5 years. And eventually he would have just got mad and left. But he evaluated, took a step back, and then stepped back in. Because now he's back on the team.
Right.
Now he's leading in Reengage.
Right.
Now he's doing all these things in community.
With
his
a joyful
wife is
heart.
healthier with a joyful heart. But it's because he realized, I got to take a step back for a minute.
You said another great thing.
And we're not mad at him.
No, I'm thrilled. Like, he's done a great job. You said another really great thing. You said, lay stuff down and pick up the right thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're burned out, it's hard to know the right thing. And I mean, we say it all the time. We talk about it almost every episode in one font or another. But like, sometimes you need somebody else around you to help you determine the right thing to pick up and the right thing to lay down. I know for you and I both, in different seasons of like heaviness and like burnout, we've needed each other and our spouses to help us evaluate, what is it I'm doing too much of? What is it that I need to change? What is it that like I have to lay down? Whatever it is, because it's hard to see straight sometimes when you're in a burnout space, and to really recognize what will give you life and what is stealing from you. Because what you said, the enemy's after you, and he wants to twist it in your mind so that you think, this is what I need to put down and this is what I should pick up, when it's really the other way around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And so being able to talk to somebody transparently who has your best interest in mind, and they have a real relationship with Jesus.
Right. It has to be the right.
They're just going to tell you to put down the wrong stuff.
Right, for sure.
We don't want you to burn out. I want to do your funeral.
Yes.
Like the people of More Church, we want to be in relationship for a long time.
Yeah.
I am not a fly in, fly out pastor.
Right.
Right. Like, I want to watch your kids get married.
Yeah.
And so that's only going to happen if we can all stay healthy and guard our hearts in the process and not get burnt out. And lastly, and then we'll go, is sometimes situations just make it tough. Like, we did an episode not too long ago about the storm and like reallocating after the storm and in the calm. Like, sometimes when you're going through hell, you have to fight.
Yeah.
Like, every minute you're fighting, but like the minute it starts to calm down, it's like you and Aaron, your family right now with Jane being in the hospital. It's a heck of a week.
Right.
And so like you kind of can't calm down. You can't slow down right now.
You can't slow down. You can't.
Because she's coming home today.
Right.
So y'all going to take them dinner tonight.
Yeah.
Right. So you can't rest this second.
Right.
But like, you sure had better rest on Friday.
Right.
Like, you're not scheduled to preach this Sunday.
Right.
But if you were scheduled to preach this Sunday, I would say, hey, friend.
You don't got to. Right.
Let me do it.
Yeah.
Because you don't need to carry that too. You know what I mean? And you've done that for me in times.
Yeah. And you and I talked about times where it's like, so like for us in our work context, Easter is a big deal. Like, okay, but after Easter, we're going to take some time, or in this moment, you're going to take a rest, or it's important to set some parameters and to pick out the moments. What
we promised ourselves, we were each going to take a week off in January, but we didn't.
It's March 11th. I've been like, when my bathroom's under renovation, I keep being like, when it is done, I'm going to take time, but one day at some point. But I think it's important. And, but what you said is really good. There were seasons for us that we had to fight back to back even and get through. And we couldn't quit then. But then once we did, we didn't take a break after. And that's what led us to those times of, it was like what do you call it? Like a tidal wave. And it was like an aftershock.
Yeah.
And if you have gone through something really heavy and you haven't given yourself time to breathe, then sometimes when the burnout hits, you feel like this doesn't make sense. It shouldn't feel like this right now. I'm good. Things are good, but I feel this way. Well, if you never took the time to repair from then that's why right now it feels like that. And so because
it all catches up.
It catches up eventually. And so you just have to, it's all connected. You have to give yourself space to heal.
So we've done 100 episodes on rest. So you can just go to our page and type in rest, and we're going to talk about how to do that properly.
Yeah. Oh, we talked a long time.
It was a long time. Guys, this is good.
That was a good one.
We love y'all.
Yeah.
I have an idea, but, well, maybe I can say it, and then we'll talk about it. We have to talk about the top.
Oh, which one?
Jeff Key gave it to me.
Oh, okay.
This is Jeff Key. Shout out.
Jeff
and Lindsay were driving back from Colorado, and he took a picture of his navigation system that while they were driving back, they were listening to Tug of More. So what we need to do is we need to start like a competition that
where are you listening from?
Where are you listening?
Where are you watching from?
Yeah.
Flat Stanley, but with...
Yes.
Do you remember the Flat Stanley? You take them on vacations?
Yeah, you remember the barbecue restaurant Dickie's? They used to have these yellow cups.
Yes.
And you would take a picture of your yellow cup places and where, and so I'm like, I would love to do that. And what if we because we need to do a new order of Tug of More t-shirts.
Yeah, we could do merch.
What if we'd once a month, whoever had the best post of where they're listening from, then they get a free t-shirt.
I love it.
Okay, but we have to talk about that at the top of the episode at some point.
Okay, we'll talk about it at the top of the next one. If we remember.
But Jeff and Lindsay are current winners.
Hey, they're going to win the first t-shirt when we get a t-shirt. I got to go tell them to design a t-shirt now. Okay.
All right. Love you guys.
That's all. Love y'all.
See ya. We're so funny how we end. We just talk, and then we're like, all right, bye.
We gave a lot of words and then we're done.
We end our videos like Mr. Beast, like this. Bye.
Bye.